I'm Tyson with Adventure Rig, and behind me we have our tow vehicle for the Adventure Rig, which is a 2007.5 Dodge Ram with a 6.7 liter Cummins in it. And also the manual transmission, it's a G56. What we're doing is just changing out the transmission fluid in it. I'm going to go ahead and put in AMSOIL. This is the manual transmission and transaxle gear lube. A lot of heated debate out there on what's best. You guys can put in whatever you want. I'll probably get some flack for this, but I'm going to go ahead and try it out. I'm taking out the AMSOIL ATF4 that I have in there currently to see if this helps it shift a little bit better. Also, with this job, it's a perfect opportunity for me to put on this aftermarket PTO cover made by TDS. This is a big aluminum plate that actually just bolts in place of the PTO cover that's currently on there. What's really nice about this, one, it's made in the USA. Guy actually down in San Antonio, Texas makes these. And on this particular model, I have a fill port that's up at the top of this plate. What this is going to allow me to do is hopefully put in every bit of 8 quarts of fluid into the G56 by moving that port up. Now also on the bottom of this particular model, I have 3 different ports on the bottom. I've got an in and an out, and that's for if you wanted to add maybe an aftermarket transmission cooler. Also, I have this 3rd port in the center, and it's nice because he gives you a magnetic drain plug if you're not going to use it. But if you wanted to add a gauge to see what your transmission's running for temperatures, you can throw it in that port there. So a really nice piece made by TDS. Seems very high quality. I'm excited to see if I can get 8 quarts into this transmission and see how it shifts when we're done. Some of the tools that we're going to need, I've got a torque wrench in foot-pounds, as well as for the TDS bolts. These are 5/16, they're an Allen head, as well as these 3 fill plugs on the bottom. These are 1/4 inch Allens. They have nice O-rings on them. And then on the very top fill port, this is an 11/16 hex. And then some socket wrenches, as well as an 11mm wrench and or socket to get the bolts out of the stock PTO cover that's on there. And then also I have black RTV, as well as a paper gasket that's going to go between this cover and the transmission. Then hopefully to make things easier to fill, I've got this nice handy dandy tube that's going to connect to the top of the bottle to fill the transmission. And then last but not least, 14mm Allen so that I can get the drain plug out of the bottom of the transmission. So let's crawl under there and we'll start draining the fluid. All right, now that we have the transmission fluid drained, this is the PTO cover that I'm going to pull off. You've got one on both sides. I'm choosing this one just because if I install a trans cooler gauge, it's all on the driver's side of the pickup, so my wiring is just going to run this way. You can really do any side you want. This is the side that I'm going to choose. With my 11, I'm going to go ahead and pull these bolts off. All right, with the cover removed, I'm going to go ahead and clean the mating surface with acetone and get off all of the old gasket maker that's on there. Now that I have the surface on the transmission clean for this new cover, I'm going to go ahead and prepare it. Like I said, I have a paper gasket here, and I'm using black RTV. I'm going to put a thin bead along this gasket and then spread it out with my finger and mate that to this TDS cover. And then I'm also going to put a thin bead on the opposite side of this paper gasket that will be mounted onto the transmission. All right, now that both surfaces were clean and prepped, I went ahead and mated up the new TDS cover to the transmission. And I'm just going around and finger tight installing all of the bolts that TDS provided. I'm going to torque it after this. I can't remember offhand. I believe it's 47 foot-pounds, but you can find all the torque specs in the description in the video. So now I'm just going around and torquing all of the bolts to 43 foot-pounds. A minute ago I said 47, but after looking, it's 43. All right, so now that we've got everything mounted up and torqued, just gonna go ahead and fill the transmission. I have this nice pump that I can connect to my AMSOIL bottle. I found that to be the easiest so far just because the fill plug is at the top. I have a drive shaft here that kind of gets in my way. So for me, that's been the easiest. I go ahead and put in 8 quarts, or as close to 8 as I can get. All right, just got done filling it, and this is what I have left of the 8 quarts. Just the very bottom full of the last quart that wouldn't fit before it started running out of the fill plug. Threw the plug back in, torqued it down, now it's ready to drive. Again, the plate that I put on is made by TDS. The one that I have has 3 different ports in the bottom, as well as the fill port on the top. He makes a few different versions. You can get one with just the fill plug in the very top, or a complete blank one with just the bolt pattern on it, and you can drill the holes wherever you want. I bought it off of eBay. If you search on eBay for TDS PTO cover, they will come right up. Again, I'm Tyson with Adventure Rig. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.